On the topic of AI, like, have you thought much about they can take a video of you and have you doing whatever they program it to do. So they can have like a picture, like a video of you performing a crime, robbing a bank, killing someone, so on and so forth. And we're getting to a point in our country where it's just like, well, what is really real, and how are we going to distinguish between what is real and what is fake?
Yeah, I think it's going to compel us. I don't even know if we need to do this, and I'm getting a little crazy, but I think it's going to ignite a spiritual evolution, a rapid spiritual evolution, where because everything is so fake, we'll be forced to rely on our sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth senses. We'll have to become far more sensitive. Well, and people are already doing it, right? Like if you would have shown someone an AI video 10 years ago and the finger was a little glitchy, you know how you can just figure it out now? The finger, no one would have seen it. No one would have seen it because they had no concept that this could possibly be fake. But now we're a lot more sensitive, and you just know an AI video is just a little bit off. Like you can just sense it. What is that? That's a sensitivity arising within us that is now being called to the surface. 10 years ago, no one would even be looking for that. You would have seen the same exact thing, but would have just totally brushed it off. You didn't see it. It's just illusion. We only see what we want to see, and now we're sort of primed to see it. Do you ever read, like everything I read now, or even like YouTube videos I watch? I know it's an AI prompt. Like I know it's just by the way it's speaking, the way not just the words being vocally spoken, but the way the words are put together. I'm like, oh, that's AI, and I am not mad, but I'm like, I know ChatGPT made that script. 10 years ago, you would have said that to somebody and would be like, what are you talking about? What is that? Once again, that's a sort of sensitivity that we're starting to adopt, to differentiate, to discern what is real and what is fake. And the more fake we're surrounded with, the more we'll evolve. I think it's going to spark, like I said, it's going to spark an intuitive revolution in us.
I completely agree, man. In a recent video I did on the American identity crisis, that was actually my conclusion. Is like, with the more fakeness that is arising in our culture, it's calling us to get a deeper sense of realness with each other, and specifically, I use the word intimacy. So the more fakeness that we're being surrounded by, I think that the more intimate we're going to have to become with one another so that we can truly know one another. And part of that is that with technology, it kind of expands our capability to do that. It kind of expands the potential for using this technology in order to create a deeper sense of relationship amongst one another. I mean, I've been using AI for a lot of, or like ChatGPT for a lot of, like the life story format that we follow. I've been using technology to kind of help me develop that out and create relationship frameworks, conversational frameworks, in order to create a deeper sense of relationship and intimacy with other people. Um, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'd go even a little bit further in that your original question about having more time on our hands being a negative thing. Obviously, we're going to continue to have more time on our hands as AI takes over, 60% of the jobs. It's doing all the things that we needed to do or hire someone to do. Now we will have more time on our hands, and I think we're going to either have to do one of two things. We will become so bored that we revert into our most primal nature. This is why they're like pushing for marijuana to be legalized everywhere. They want you, the sex apps and pornography and sexual degeneracy. Like there's a big push towards that because we have a lot of time on our hands. So what else are we going to do? But then there's going to be a split between those that take that bait, but it'll eventually, they'll get tired of it. So I think at some point we'll all ascend. It's going to accelerate our ascension. The extra time in our hands is going to cause us to do what? Meditate more, contemplate more, pray more deeply, become more intuitive. That will be the next, like, how do they call it? Like self-development. The next form of self-development will be like how to, it's not even going to be a how-to. Like the way we're thinking right now will be so foreign. No one will need to learn how to do anything. I think we will just, I don't even want to use the word learn. We will just allow ourselves to be. And in that being, we're going to blossom.
It's fascinating. I mean, in the Bible, it talks about the story of the Tower of Babel. And, I've thought about that quite a bit, just in terms of, relating it to where we're at in our culture with the advancement of technology. And part of that story was that everyone was speaking the same language. And kind of on the thread that you're on, they reached this level of ascension. And, I might say this level of competency and skillfulness. It's almost like they became too smart for their own good, too competent for their own good, too skillful for their own good. And the kind of conclusion of that story is that God strikes down the Tower of Babel, and then he spreads the people back out all across the country. And so, or all across the world. And so I'm wondering if this is a Tower of Babel moment where maybe we can reach a new and different conclusion, or is history just going to repeat itself?
Both. So think of the towers being built this way, right? And when you hear collapse, what do you immediately think? Back down. But as things consolidate, they fracture, and I think we go up. I'm thinking of this as you're saying this. It's almost like quantum evolution. So there is, I can't remember the scientific term, but then there's a consolidation, and then there's entropy, and then there's a split, like cell division, right? Remember mitosis, cell division, where it comes together, right? The towers we're coming together, it all comes together, but then chaos happens within the organism. So it creates a chaos, and what does chaos then do? It then creates a split, and that's how cells split, right? So in a way, and this is just me making this up as you were talking, thinking of this, we consolidated. There was a consolidation, and then there was a split. And I think the split that we're going to experience is not going to create. The chaos happens before the split. I think the split will create a new order. I think we'll move into a higher order, and I think that the term split is not so much like we'll be individually fractured and crazy. I think we'll experience that before this quantum leap happens. But the quantum leap, I think, is going to be from consolidated world power. New World Order, all these NGOs, even the centralization of the American government, which is not constitutional. We were actually supposed to be separate states. I think what's going to happen is because of everything that's being exposed and everything that's happening, and the play of their hand so hard, that we're going to come together, and the technology is going to be a part of why the whole thing breaks up. But then we become more individually sovereign. We become more individually sovereign beings. And so the split will be a good thing. It won't be a crumbling this way. It'll be a crumbling this way. And I don't even think I could call it crumbling. It's a quantum leap into, I would say, a stronger, unified individualism.